Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today on the speed build. So today we're going to be building this little cutie here. It's actually a rental property for rent. So this is a limited pack build, so it's actually only base game and for rent. And I did build this as a rental, so something that you might buy and just rent out, like, kind of like a first rental home kind of dealio. And yeah, I do love building in Tomarang. It's one of my very favorite worlds. It's like absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And it's got that sort of jungly beach vibe, which I think is really cool. It's kind of a mix between Salvadorada and Solani. Yeah, it's like if Salvadorada and Solani had a baby, that would be Tomarang. So, I mean, this is a small lot, so there's not really a lot of room for a backyard and a pool and, that sort of thing. So I just did like a bit of the landscaping and the jungly vibe that you get around the place. So I just wanted to kind of match the landscape to the world. So that was kind of the idea. So I did like a lot of, the jungly type plants and the deep greens, and then some rocks around there as well, just to add, a bit of detail to the build, as you do. And this is going to be a 2-unit rental. So it's going to be 2 1-bedroom units, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like split in 2. So you can sort of see, I think from the outside there, you can sort of see how I'm going to do it. So we're going to have like a community area in the middle, and then there's going to be the 1-bedroom units on either side. So it's just, pretty simple layout as far as that goes. But I got to play around with purple in the game, so I really enjoyed that. There's like not enough really good purple palette stuff. That's kind of a bit of a mouthful to say, but yeah, like working with lavender in the game is actually quite challenging. Lavender or purple, any sort of shade of purple really is quite challenging in the game. There's like some really nice windows that you get with for rent. Actually, I love the for rent windows. I think they're really pretty. But there's like a really nice purple sort of shade, and that's sort of what inspired me with this build, is just going like, super lavender as much as I can anyway, because there's lavender's a little bit hard in the game because there isn't a great deal of swatches available in the different items for lavender. But I was only doing this base game and for rent, so that I guess makes it even more limited. But I did what I could, and I think it worked out quite nicely. So I'm just doing a basement. Now, I don't often do a lot of basements, so this was fun. And just sort of thinking about things that I would put in the basement, like storagey type stuff. I mean, obviously, because it is just for rent and base game, there wasn't a whole lot you can put in there, but you obviously got the water heater and the fuse box. So those are the 2 items that came with for rent, for rentals and that sort of thing, and doing like your maintenance and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, got to put that in there, and some little storage items and bits and pieces. So I was really delighted to actually remember to add that in. So you can sort of see how the floor plan is starting to shape up there. So as I said, we're going to have the community area in the middle. So you've got the stairs down to the basement. So that's going to be a community or shared area as well. And then there'll be a little shared space. And then in each of the apartments, you've got 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. So just working on the bathroom now, and just sticking with the lavender sort of shade. So just mixing the lavender and white, because there really is, I mean, I could have done white walls and lavender furnishing, but there is not enough to do that. So just bringing the lavender into it through the wallpaper and little touches here and there, like with the rugs and that sort of thing. That's probably the best way to describe how I brought the lavender in. And I use the little squat toilets as well. I'm not a fan of them, I'll be honest, but that's just from personal experience. Not from the fact that they are a thing that exists, just from personal experience. Anyway, yeah, not a big fan of the squat toilets, but I put them in this one, and I actually put them up on like little platforms, and I basically did a reflection in each of the units. So there's a left side unit and a right side unit, and I just kind of reflected those 2 units, so they got the same sort of stuff in the same sort of places, but like different colors. Like I mixed it up with the colors. So I think in the other, like I'm using a light wood in one of the units, and then I think I use a slightly darker wood in the other unit, and to just mix it up a little bit with the colors and that sort of thing, which I kind of thought would be how, that would make sense in a rental. right? Like, you know, if you were someone who was like going in and finishing a rental house to rent out and you had like the 2 units in the one place, I mean, it kind of makes sense to do something like that. Like, you know, you take advantage of having the same sort of finishings and then just like, you know, reflect them in both the apartments, and then the sim themselves can just, or the renter themselves can, you know, make it their own. So in this apartment here with the lighter wood, I'm going with the for rent cabinets and doing those in a grey. There wasn't a budget on this, so I could just put as much as I liked in it, which was quite nice. It does get a little bit harder when you're working to a tight budget, but I didn't have one on this one, so I had a little bit more flexibility. And obviously, grey and purple are really, really good friends. So that was kind of why I went with a grey palette in this particular unit, because I do love grey and purple together. Just like lovely, beautiful. And I did that on the outside as well, so when you have a look on the outside, if you do download it or as you're watching and that sort of thing, so there's sort of a purple vibe on the outside, and then it did the grey roof as well, so that was something that was on the outside and I've reflected on the inside too. And I think I've used like touches of green. So this is the second bathroom in the second unit. So I'm doing, as I said, same sort of layout, but I'm doing slightly different colors and just doing like, you know, a few little different touches here and there, just to give them a little bit more of a separate personality. So same sort of fixtures and that sort of thing, but then switching it up as some of the colors, because green and purple actually, or the lavender and the green, and these particular shades anyway, work really nicely together. Actually, green and purple in general work really nicely together, don't they? So those are another two colors. So that's why I sort of like evolved in the second unit to having like a touches of the green around, because it does work really nicely with the purple. And I'm using the for rent curtains there. I'm just trying to figure out how I want those to go. They were a little bit fussy, but got there in the end. So yeah, just using the decorative ones with the green through them. And then I was going to do the green in the kitchen, and it just looked, it was a bit much. So I was like, no. So as you can see here, my words are tripping over themselves, and I'm using the darker wood in this particular unit. So I kind of matched the wood to the bed. So I'm using the for rent beds, the 4-poster beds, which are really, really pretty beds. And then I just matched the wood throughout the apartment to match the bed. I'm using the new cushions that we got as login rewards. Those are really handy, actually. I really like those cushions. It's just nice to have cushions with a good range of colors that you can mix and match with a whole lot of different things. I mean, that's just like one of those little things that will get a lot of use because it is quite a flexible little thing. It's a shame they don't sort of click directly onto chairs and couches. Like, that would be money, but unfortunately that's not the case, which is fine. I mean, we've got to cheat around it, but you know, for people that don't use cheats or don't use mods, I imagine it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, this cushion just goes on the ground. Why does this cushion just go on the ground? But hey, it's one of those things. So I'm just doing a little bit more fussing around with the basement. I just wanted to change it up a little bit, just adding like a little bit of gross things. You know, you get like those little yucky, moldy kind of decals and that sort of thing. So just putting a bit of that on the basement walls, because that kind of made sense. Not a lot of maintenance in there. Need a better landlord, you know. So just working on the community shared area at the moment, just using the light grey finishing. And oh, I love that bar back that we got with the for rent pack. It's just got like, you know, all the little bits of pretty clutter on there. It's just, such a pretty little bar back, that one. And a lot of the for rent furnishings. Obviously, if I'm going to be using just the 2 packs, I'm going to be going hard on the for rent, that's for sure. Just putting some more of those little cushions in there. Now this kind of has like a little bit more of a blue look to it, the living area or the community shared area. So yeah, mixing it up a little bit in the middle. So let's take a tour of what we did. So just heading around the back. And I didn't go like over, as I said, it's a small lot, so there wasn't a lot of space to fit a whole lot in there, but we've got a barbecue, we've got a table, a little shrine thing around the side, and you know, a little bit of trees and fauna out there. And I really like the touch of the purple on the windows. I thought that brings the purple out quite nicely. So this is a shared area, which is kind of like a creamy blue, which is a little bit different from the units, but I think just in the same sort of color palette-ish So in the same sort of ballpark. And then through to our first unit, which has the light furnishing. And you can see there with the lovely purple walls, it does have a really nice purple vibe to it. And I think I did all right considering that it is just the 2 packs. Managed to get a little bit of variety in there. And I mean, they've got a nice bedroom, they've got a dresser, mirror, and they've got a nice bathroom as well. They've got a bath and toilet and, you know, nice big long cabinets. I mean, I'd love to have big long cabinets with lots of cupboard space. And then into the second apartment, so this is the one with the darker wood furnishings, and it's got touches of green as well in this one, just to mix it up a little bit. But green and lavender, as I said, do work really nicely together, so I think that came together really nicely. Same sort of bathroom, just with touches that are slightly different, just to give it a different personality as well. That is our build. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.